I want to see a 5,000-page op-ed on how great Black Baby is, the genius of Black Baby.
Yeah, I want to see a video essay called "The Genius of Black Baby."
Welcome back to the Creepy Files, yada yada yada. Let's talk about Black Baby. What is Black Baby? Well, it's better if I just show you. Black Baby is one of the weirdest avant-garde games you can find, and I could go on and on about why the game is strangely genius in a lot of ways, but specifically today I want to talk about why it's secretly a horror masterpiece, and it doesn't sound like it was intentional. When talking to the creator Santa Claus on Discord, he said that he created the game as an adventure game. So what makes it scary if it wasn't designed that way? Let's look at the opening. You press play and the game instantly fades into a giant deformed man walking toward you, Black Baby. It literally starts you with an immediate threat and no explanation. And this is really the core aspect of the game's fear. The fear of the unknown is really the base of most horror, and this game focuses in on this. So let's talk about the game in each of its core aspects. Okay, let's talk about the character design, starting with Black Baby, the character you play as. I mean, the name is pretty self-explanatory, he's a black baby, but there is something inherent in the choice of making him a baby. Having a vulnerable protagonist is literally Horror 101, but the extreme of having him be a literal baby really adds to this. Every little challenge is multiplied by being a baby. Moving on to the giants, also known as AGs or Asian giants, besides being very grotesque and reminding me a lot of Tyler 1, their design really helps contrast Black Baby. To a baby, a grown adult would be a giant, but we're talking about a baby going against people who are literally giants to full-grown adults. This contrast between something extremely small and something extremely large sets up the antagonists as being almost unbeatable, and that's what makes horror effective. As a postscript, I should mention that the creator has stated that he never meant for the characters to be a statement on race in any way. He used Make Human to model the characters. My guess is he just used the sliders in an attempt to differentiate between the characters. The gameplay of Black Baby is pretty simple. You're in third person, you can pick up items and drop them. You grab keys to unlock doors and grab health from the giants that you kill. The puzzles are relatively simple, and when you die, you start all over. Now, a quick word on the permadeath. While it definitely adds to the tension of the game, I feel like having sparse save points could help diminish some of the frustration without getting rid of the difficulty. But moving on to the aspects of gameplay and design that make it scary. Outside of the mechanics, the way each area is set up really helps increase the tension. The entire labyrinth you travel through is dimly lit with torches, mostly consisting of rooms with elevated walkways you can use to stay away from the giants. However, every once in a while, you'll be forced to face the unknown, which we've established is really the core of the scariness of this game. A dark hallway when you don't have a torch, a sheer drop that you can't see the bottom of, not to mention the jump scares, which are done in a way that I feel like all jump scares should be done. The best example I have for this is here. You walk into a room that is connected to a walkway, which would be presumably safe, and are met with a giant walking towards you at full speed. This is the first one we've seen with weapon and is completely jarring and scary to be introduced so suddenly. The game doesn't need any music for moments like this. The last thing I'd like to mention is the AI of the giants. I reiterate again, the unknown is what really makes this game scary. And the way these giants act is unexplainable. They won't follow you upstairs, but they will walk quickly toward you as soon as you enter their level. For the most part, they'll kick you and then walk away for a moment. You can just stare at them in certain moments, and other moments they try to kill you. Most times they don't have weapons, but sometimes they do. Sometimes they'll switch legs they used to kick with. They are extremely hard to pin down, and this makes entering into an interaction with one a unique experience every time. The last aspect I'd like to talk about is lore, or I suppose the lack thereof. The creator himself even states that there is no lore intended when creating the game. Again, in some ways, this is just an avant-garde game being made strange for the sake of it, which I love, but having such great iconography, it's really easy to create your own lore and story behind it.
Hello, can you hear me, sir? I know you don't know who I am, but I know you. I've been watching you, and I know you're good people with a good heart. We're just different, you and I.
While this isn't exactly an exclusively scary aspect, it really helps the player become immersed and interested in the game, which is always something you want to do when trying to scare people. Although, again, it doesn't seem like that was the intention. But I have to say, the accidental genius of this game is very well done. So, what did you think about this episode of the Creepy Files? Obviously, this was a bit of a silly one, but I would legitimately suggest playing the game. Aside from being very strange, it is actually quite unsettling and scary. Check out the episode of Oneyplays that inspired this video, and check out the first episode of my podcast, Quando, as in Q&A, for my full interview with the creator of Black Baby, and more interesting guests coming soon. Follow me on Twitch, because I'm doing more stuff over there, leave a comment about what you thought of this episode, and suggest what I should cover next on my Twitter or Instagram. See you all next time.